guys, welcome back to my channel. And so you guys, let me start talking about mental health more. I've been on for a long time. I just been going through literally a lot, you guys. I am pregnant. I am been sick. I've been going through my depression, just a lot. Okay, and so I'm trying to get back into good habits and getting back into stuff that I used to love to do. And so here I'm just here to just talk about like this ideal I have. And so it's like I want everyone to just really know about it. It's not like, a big secret, like, don't steal my ideal. Like, no, I want you to do this, like, for yourself. So, like, I want to call it, like, a mental health support journal. So, like, it does not have to be on your tablet, you guys. Like, I just put it on my tablet so it can look neater. So I can, like, show you, like, what I want to show you, but, like, not in a messy way. You can use a regular journal to do your binder and stuff. You see sloppy handwriting, you feel me? But I'm using this just to show y'all in a not so messy way your mental health support journal. So the ideal of this journal would be like your tips, your how-tos, your go-to on what to do when you're going through certain emotions, when you're going through your depression, when you're going through manic episodes. Like, you would write all your how-tos and go-tos and what you need to hear during those episodes or during those emotions. You know what I mean? And this will also be a book that you would share with your support partner as well. Like, this is a book that you would not mind your support partner reading, or like mainly like for them to read. Your main journal where you vent at and stuff and you use for therapy, you wouldn't, that's your personal journal. You don't usually let anyone read that unless you let your therapist read it, and that's completely a different total situation. But like your support partner, could be anybody, and you might not be comfortable with them having your regular journal. But this journal would be like for them specifically to look at, like, these are ways that they could help. Not only are there how-tos and go-tos for yourself, it would be for them too as well. When people ask, how can I help you and stuff like that, because we don't ever really just think about it. Like, when we're going through these emotions and people ask us, how can they help us? It's like, when we're in that moment or we're going through a depressive episode and stuff like we me personally, I don't have the capacity to sit here and break down what all I need, because I'm not thinking about what I need. Okay, I don't care. I'm going through what I'm going through, and that's like, it's like the worst moment to ask, what do you need, is when you're going through something. It's like, okay, so now I had the deal, like, when you're in a level-minded or a neutral mind or in a better mindset, to write it out what you need before it happens, okay? So when it does happen and you have your support person or somebody ask you, like, hey, what do you need? Like, ayo, you would have this laying out. It would be very distinctive, like, journal for them to grab if they live with you, or you take a picture of your page that you would have, and you will send it to them. You know what I mean? So now with this mental health support journal, like, I told my therapist about this journal months ago when I started it. I kind of stopped doing it for a while because I was going through depressive episodes and stuff, and I didn't keep up with it. I was going through a lot. So, oh my gosh, it's just a moth. So I consult with her a lot when it comes to this, because when you're doing how to manage this or what to do and stuff like that, you're gonna need tips from your therapist. Okay, like there's gonna be like your personal opinion, like what can help you with this, but then like when it comes into the actual mental disorders and stuff like that, this is when we need the therapist to step in and be like, okay, here are your tips and tricks for this, because they're going to give you their professional opinion that is more likely going to help than what you're probably thinking in your head would help for that mental disorder. Like, and we'll go more into it, and I also want to point out to okay, my bad, that cut off. But yeah, you guys, do not self-diagnose yourself. I know it's it's easy to get lost on Google in looking up all your symptoms and hearing other people's stories and being like, okay, this is very similar to what I have. But you have to also realize that there are a lot of mental health disorders and things that are very similar to each other. And you might self-diagnose yourself wrong and might not get the proper help that you need. Okay, so you might be presenting symptoms of something that might be along the lines of bipolar disorder whole time you might just have major depressive disorder and and confused manic highs and all the other, just something simple. I really recommend consulting with the doctor, with the therapist. Don't self-diagnose yourself. I'm not, I'm also going to recommend not to self-medicate, especially with prescriptions, with SSRIs, like any medication that a psychiatrist never prescribed you. You always want to consult them, and so they know what all medications that you're on and what's balanced and just everything. Okay, so let me go ahead and show y'all what the first few pages I recommend them be positive pages. Those would be your affirmations, your mantras, your you talking really good to yourself. That's what those first few pages are going to be. And you could leave little spaces in between, like little more paper, so you can write in more positive stuff that you want to leave in there. If you're religious, your prayers, or anything positive that would keep you in an open mind. So the pages after that, it would be what to do when you're blank, any type of emotion, sad, angry, and basically it'll be your tips, and then a note to yourself, what would you this is what you're writing personally to yourself, what helps you personally when you're upset, when you're mad, when you're sad, all the things that help you. Okay, not only that, you're also going to add some tips on there that you get from your therapist, or basically some tips that you get from your therapist. And if you don't have a therapist, if you've read some tips and tricks to help with anger or sad or something like that, try adding one or two to the bottom of your list of ones that you haven't tried before, and highlight them. So when you are going through this emotion again and you're trying all of the things that you listed out and it's not kind of helping, you try the new thing that's on there, and if it works, after you've been mad or sad or whatever, you come back and reflect a day later or whatever, you could either mark it out or put a check mark by it that it worked, or that you'll keep it or you'll strike it. you also keep a note to yourself. Like, you literally write to yourself what you would want to tell yourself while you're angry. Because, like, when we're in, like, our emotions and we're sad, like, we're not our clear, calm self, or we're not thinking clearly, and we don't get out, we don't think how we're supposed to be thinking. When I'm angry, things go left really quickly, or, I take little situations and make them way bigger than what they need to be. I'm just giving an example, so I'll put my note to self is, if it doesn't pertain to your household, let it go. Some things aren't your responsibility. Let go of all things that do not serve you. Write something like that, and you would do that for each one of your pages that you have. What to do when you're sad, what to do when you're blah, blah, blah. You feel me? And I'll show you guys what it looks like in my journal. Like, similar. Just looks a little bit prettier right here. And then, like, how, like, when you're sad, tips there. My tips, and then tips, that I've either read online or from my therapist. And a note to myself from at the bottom of each page. And then you'll leave another page blank so you could add on to it. So this next page, so going down the line, you would have how to manage blank. Okay, you might not have hyperfixation, you might have anxiety, you might have panic attacks, you might have disassociation, you might have I forgot what it's called, but, like, you would literally, like, you're putting your diagnosis here, like, things that you suffer with and that is hard for you to manage, and something you suffer for, and this page you would really consult a therapist with, or a professional with, to get proper notes and tips and tricks that will help with whatever diagnosis you have. Clearly, it's not going to be one page. You're going to have multiple pages of notes, especially with your therapist's input. And if you do your own research, your notes as well. You would have your notes and your tips and tricks, and then in a couple pages later, you would kind of want to, like, a self note, like, if any of these things helped during, while this is happening. Like, I do have a hyperfixation problem. It's something I struggle with. And, these are just a few tips that my therapist has sent me, and we're still working on it to this day. It's hard, I'll go through and be like, okay, setting a time limit, it helps. I can't say that it just makes it go all the way away, but, whatever. You would basically really just consult with their therapist or professional. Or if you already do know your diagnoses and you don't currently see a therapist, look for tips and tricks on the internet. I know, it's just yeah. Okay. And so for the important, like, they're all important pages. Like, for this page, for your support partner, this page is, like, literally dedicated to them. Like, for them to read, like, like, hey, this is my page for my support partner. This is what you can do to help me through my depressive episode. Or if you're bipolar episode, your manic episode, your whatever. Like, whatever. I have major depressive disorder, generalized anxiety, a lot of stuff. I got things, so, like, the thing about major depressive disorder is that it comes, like, it comes and goes. It comes and goes in waves. Like, it's not something that's just gonna go away. I'm gonna have good months, I'm gonna have bad months. It's gonna come and go. Okay, so I'll have periods of time where I fall into depression, and as my therapist put it, like, we're working to where when it is happening is not so heavy and it's not so bad, like, you want to get to a happy medium, basically, so we don't have to worry about how deep and how bad it gets. But basically, when my support partner, which is my fiance, he asks me what he can do for me all the time, and I always shut him down, like I was saying in the beginning. So this would be for him. He don't gotta ask anymore. Like, okay, this is what I got. Basically, let me, like I'm summing it up for you. This is what this is. It's gonna keep on happening, blah, 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 blah. So what are some signs that my episode is starting? I stopped taking my medicine. I'm not getting out of the bed. I start distancing myself. How can you help me? Like, I sum these up so I can just put them in here. But of course, I have more pages in here in my journal, just so, like, I could show y'all guys right here. But you would just basically break down how you can help me. What are some things that person could do to make this episode go by easier? Okay, like, for me, my number one thing is make sure I take my medicine, because every time I start my depressive episode, I stop taking all of my medicine. I stop taking everything, and it does not help the situation. In the moment, it feels like I don't want to, I shouldn't, and it's like, it's not gonna help. That's like the mood I get into, like, it's not gonna help, I'm not gonna do it, you feel me? Like, it gets bad. Just like, have your whole thing listed out for your support partner. And also, I would put for your support partner, like, a contact page in your journal to your therapist, hotline numbers, and any other important numbers that you want them to know and are listed, or people they need to call if they feel like they cannot help you and it's bad, or it's past their what they need or want, they need help with helping us. You need to do that. So I'm gonna sum this up because this is, like, really long, and I'm running out of storage. But, like, this is my ideal, and hopefully I can come back on here and talk a lot more about mental health, and hopefully I don't go back into a depressive episode and just go ghost and just not be active. But I'm working really hard on wanting to be more active and making more content. So thank you for everyone who's being patient with me and still follows me and likes my videos and watches them when I do finally decide to upload. So I'll see y'all guys in the next video. Thank you.